Alright guys, Hydropsych back here. Very excited for what I'm about to show everybody. It's sitting in front of me right here. I've got a special delivery from the mailman. I got this thing, I guess about a week ago, but I haven't had time to actually sit down and do a full review on camera. Although I've been itching to, because this, what I'm about to show you guys is awesome. So I guess just after Christmas, I had some new toys to play with. Got a couple new knives, a few new knives actually, and I started looking for sheaths, because the sheaths that came with the knives that I got just really weren't cutting it. So went online, did the usual thing, looking at different vendors, different guys that make Kydex leather, everything else that people use to make sheaths. And I found a guy by the name of Matt at Grizzly Outdoors. And you might have seen there's some other guys that do reviews. Prepared Mind 101. He does a review over there of or a little comparison of two Kydex sheath makers, Grizzly Outdoors being one of them. But anyway, I decided to go with Matt at Grizzly Outdoors. Just seeing his sheaths, they looked awesome. Craftsmanship looked good. His just the level of skill and the way he puts the sheaths together with the various options and the customizations looked awesome. So I figured I would go with him and see what he can come up with for me. So this is going to be an unboxing. Now, I've opened these already. There's no way I was waiting a week to open this after I got it. So this has been opened already, but I'm going to go through right now and just show you guys what I had made up for me. So, empty U.S. postage bag, just in case, I guess, anything needed to be shipped back, or if there's anything else I wanted Matt to make, he made sure to send me a bag, which actually I'm going to be sending him some other stuff his way after seeing this stuff. So, okay, we've got a box, 2 bags with stuff in it. The sheaths that came, the stock sheaths, are returned in the bottom of the box. So I'm going to set that to the side for now. And here we go. So bag number 1. I'm going to open this up here, and this is the main sheath right here. So what I've got in here, and I'm not going to go into a full in-depth review on the knives. I'll tell you what they are. I'm not going to give any specs because the purpose of this review is really for the sheath. So the knives I'll do separately, maybe in a different video, and maybe I'll link it somewhere up here or down below. But anyway, so black sheath, Kydex. You'll see I've got a bunch of stuff going on here. So what I had wanted to do is try to incorporate a few different elements on a single sheath, keep the profile of the sheath as small as possible, while making it functional. And I think Matt just completely knocked it out of the park with this. So what I've got here is a Condor Garuda. That's the main knife here, Condor Garuda. Again, I'm not going to get into the specs on it. So I shipped him a Condor Garuda. I shipped him a Foltz Minimalist, CRKT Foltz Minimalist. And I also shipped him, so here's bag number 2. I also shipped him an SE Izula. Green SE Izula, black scales. And what I had asked him to do, or charged him to do, was to make this as modular as he could possibly make it. Meaning, I had the CRKT Minimalist. I wanted to have that on there as a piggyback. Not knowing whether I was going to like the CRKT or the SE Izula better, I figured this was kind of Christmas gift slash, just extra Christmas money I had laying around. So I figured, let me just send him everything, have him make this stuff up for me, and see what he can do. So the Fultz Minimalist, this sheath comes off. So this is in, all the accessories and the piggybacks are on Kryptek Typhoon color Kydex, while the main blade sheath is black. So this comes off. So again, modularity was one of the things I said I wanted. I wanted to be able to take things on, take things off, interchange things depending on what my need was. So, like I said, he basically hit the ball out of the park. The way he engineered everything with the sheath, the rivets, so it's a pancake style sheath, rivets all the way around. What he did was, if I take the CRKT Minimalist off, everything is lined up perfectly so that the SE Azula will sit right over the top of it. And I know this isn't perfect, and I might, I don't know if I'm going to unscrew things and switch off on video, but I've done this. The SE Azula fits on there perfectly. In addition, what I had asked him to do with the Azula was make it so that I could wear this completely separately if I wanted to. So if I wanted to take this off the piggyback and wear this all on its own without the Garuda and everything else, if I wanted to minimize weight, whatever, if I didn't need a big blade, I wanted that as well, which he did via another tech lock. So both of these have tech locks on them. This one I could pull the tech lock off, mount it to the main sheath, and I'm good to go. In addition to this, what's not on here at this point, the SE Azula, is another fire steel, which both of them have got fire steels on them. Again, I had asked Matt to mount this over the top of the I guess the outside of the sheath, what faces out when it's being worn, rather than over the spine, because again, I wanted to keep that form factor small, or as small as possible, I should say. So we tried to mount everything on top, which, I mean, it came out perfect. It came out perfect. The craftsmanship on this thing is, and I'll say it. I said it once, I'll say it over and over again. This thing is awesome. The other thing he added on here, interestingly enough, which was one of my other requests, and again, he integrated it perfectly here, is this right on the back. Flip this around here. So that is the, do I have that? No, I had it the right way the first time, I think. This is the SE AH1 Arrowhead. Now, I wanted this knife to be kind of all around camping, hunting, fishing, bushcraft, kind of just an all-around type of a sheath that I can carry everything I need right on here, while also having the ability to take things on, add things as I like. So I told him to try to integrate the Arrowhead on there. I don't know how often I'll use that Arrowhead, but I got it from somebody as a gift. Looks cool. I figured if he could hide it somewhere on the back of the sheath, which is, again, one of my other specifications that he met to a T. I said I don't want it on the front. I want it out of the way if I'm going to have it on there at all. I'd like it on the back somewhere, the back side of the sheath, not visible, so it's small, out of the way, and doesn't take up too much real estate, so I can fit everything else on here on the front that I wanted to fit. So, I mean, he completely knocked that out of the park. Now, what I'm going to show you guys is right here. You see, I've got all these elements. There's basically three things on here. Look at that craftsmanship. You can see everything is just perfectly, it's just perfectly even. And I don't know if the camera is going to do it justice here. I'm trying to show you guys, but everything is just perfectly smooth. Even here between these two, between the piggyback and the main blade, everything is just perfect. Lines up literally, I mean, to a T. There's no overhang. It's all lined up perfectly. The retention on the sheath, and he kind of puts, you can see there, so you've got the spot for your thumb, and then down here even for your pointer finger, it's like a little groove. So it's not just your thumb. You're literally using your pointer finger, bracing there and popping right out, and retention is perfect. This thing's not coming out of there. You might hear the rattle in there is from the tech lock. I had moved the two little I guess belt. There's little belt adjusters depending on what the size of your belt is. You can move them in between these snaps, and you know, you can adjust it to the width of your belt. So that's the only rattling you hear on there. When it's actually on something, you don't hear that. But everything is just super nice and tight. Here's the fire steel. I believe this is a 3/8 inch fire steel. Again, perfectly mounted on there. You know, as flush as it can be. Everything is, I guess, as flush to the main blade or the main sheath as it can be, and as compact as it can be, which again was my number one thing. I don't want to carry around this big, huge, bulky thing on me. So Matt completely knocked it out of the park. I guess the other thing I wanted to touch on as far as craftsmanship, the seam. So it's a pancake style sheath, and I don't know how he does it, but it looks almost like it's been molded this way. The seams between the pancakes, I mean, you just don't see them. I don't know what he does or how he does that, but you just don't see the seam there where he pancakes the two pieces of Kydex together. It's almost like it's melted together. I'm not sure how well that's gonna. There you go. That should give you a better idea what that looks like. You don't see the seam. I don't know how he does it, but it's perfect. So overall, very highly impressed with the sheath. Again, you know, another tech lock here. Same quality on the piggyback sheath. You don't see any seam there. This one now, of course, isn't a pancake. This is a fold-over taco style Kydex sheath. But again, in order to minimize the size when it's mounted to the main sheath, it had to be that way. And this thing is perfect, lightweight. Tech lock. The tech lock is awesome, either on, you know, putting it on the strap of a pack or on the belt. Works perfectly, and again, just like with the main one, retention is perfect. There's a little groove here for your thumb, a little notch down here for your pointer finger. You just, you know, brace your fingers against there and pull, and that's it. It's out. Comes out perfectly, locks in place, doesn't shake around there. Again, the only rattling you're hearing is from the tech lock, the little belt retention pieces. But that's it. This thing is rock solid. Both of these are rock solid. Matt was nice enough to include a ton of extra hardware. Again, and I haven't tried this, but the AH1, the Arrowhead, the SE Arrowhead, just lining it up, eyeing it, I want to say that he made the holes in the SE piggyback sheath compatible with the holes on here, so that I could pull this off of the main sheath and add it to this one and wear this alone with a fire steel, with the SE, and with the SE Arrowhead, just as a standalone, which is, I mean, that's awesome. It's just 100% modular design, which I stressed that in my emails. I wanted something that was modular where I can interchange pieces between, you know, from one piggyback sheath, wearing it as a primary versus just as a piggyback, being able to add components from the main sheath, like the fire steel, the Arrowhead, and I mean, he met every single one of the requirements that I put out there, probably, and then some, just with the craftsmanship. So my hat's off to Matt at Grizzly Outdoors. It's just a great product. I don't know what else to say. If you want a good sheath, I know there are other sheath makers out there. I haven't used any. I don't know why I would not go back to Matt unless I saw something else that would beat this, which I would find very hard to find. It's very hard for somebody to beat the craftsmanship on this, and just the level of detail. That's the most important thing, I think, is the level of detail. Craftsmanship is one thing, but that attention to detail, and, you know, making sure these edges all line up literally perfectly. I run my finger over there and it feels, you know, there's three components here you're looking at. Three components there: the piggyback, the Arrowhead, and the main sheath, and it just feels like my finger's sliding over one piece. Everything is just perfectly lined up, milled down, sanded down, whatever he does. and that goes all the way around, even with the fire steel. So this thing is perfect. I am 100% happy with it. Highly recommend Matt. I actually reached out to him already for something else that I've got in the works. But if any of you are interested in a Kydex sheath, quality Kydex sheath, reach out to Matt at Grizzly Outdoors. He didn't pay me, there's no endorsement here, endorsement deal. It's just quality service. He reaches out in a timely manner, clarifies exactly what it is you're looking for, and gets you what you're looking for and then some. So I think that's really it at this point. Like I said, I'm not going to do any kind of in-depth thing on the blades at this point. Condor Garuda Fultz Minimalist. I'll do a little bit of a separate review on these. You might see I've done some customizing on the blade there on the Garuda. I made it a little bit more of a drop point and added some jimping. But that's really it. Awesome stuff from Matt. I mean, he even included just extra hardware. I've got extra hardware, an extra fire steel, and all the hardware just in case I want to mix and match and do whatever. So awesome product. Thanks a lot, Matt. Alright guys, so here we're going to do a little bit of up close. I don't know if anybody got all the details, if I was able to show all the details, so I just want to jump in here and just show you all a little better view, a little better angle. Just seeing up close, that's the blade. So the Cryptic Typhoon color on black. And there you can see the seams, what I was talking about before. I don't know how close I can get that before it loses focus, but you don't even see the seams on that until you start getting like close to the edge. Which that's understandable. That's where it's gonna spread out a little bit. That's what causes that retention, or creates that friction retention on the blade. So that's understandable, but otherwise, that's awesome. There's a little drain hole right there. The drain hole right there on the piggyback. Whoops. Pops in. Just perfect retention. Awesome. A little bit stronger retention on the arrowhead. That's understandable, and I actually like that because I'm not really going to be pulling this thing out all that often. So I actually prefer that thing is in there a little bit tighter than everything else. So that's that. Here's the second piggyback there. Tech lock, and again you can see where this would fit right there. I mean, it's all milled down perfectly. It would fit perfect right there. Of course, the tech lock is on there, so can't get a good overlay of them. But in any case, I think everybody gets the picture on that. Same deal with the piggyback here. Try to get all this in focus. There it goes. No rattling. Yeah, see, I know these little things right here are rattling on that tech lock. If I stop those though, no shaking whatsoever in there. That blade is not moving. That thing is perfectly snug in there. Awesome work by Matt.